You know, there is a reason that they call spring cleaning spring cleaning. Spring is a time of renewal. It's a time of light. It's a time of getting rid of things that no longer mean anything to you or things that are just weighing you down. This is my monthly collab with Leanna Dalton, and I am giving you 5, maybe 6, maybe an honorable mention in there, things that I am letting go of for spring. I'm going to be doing this makeup look and spilling the tea on things that no longer mean anything to me. If you want to hear what I'm letting go of, then stick around. Hi, I'm Andi. Welcome or welcome back. I'm really happy that you're here. I'm not going to talk a lot about the makeup that I'm using, but I will have it all listed below if you're curious what I'm using. Winter is very heavy for me. I don't like winter. I don't like the cold. I don't like being cold. I think we've already established that this winter in my videos. So with spring, I feel lighter. I feel spring renewal. The grass is getting greener. The flowers are blooming. The leaves are coming out. And the new animal babies are being born. It's just a time of renewal. It's time to lighten everything up. People declutter. People just let go of things. So I have a list of 5 things that I am getting rid of. I'm letting go. I'm letting go for spring. And these are all makeup related, obviously. They're all makeup related. The first 2 relate to project panning, relate to an extensive makeup collection or a makeup collection of any size, honestly. But using something just to use it. And in regards to project panning, that means using it to hit a number, to hit a goal, just to use it. If it's something that I don't enjoy, I'm not using it. I'm giving myself permission to say, this is not worth my time anymore. I'm not enjoying it. If I'm not enjoying it, I'm not going to use it. There is a difference between mindful use and forced use. I'm not going to force myself to use something that I don't enjoy. And this goes beyond hate panning. If you're a panner or you watch panning content, you know the term hate panning. Well, I don't hate pan. If I just really don't like it, I'm not going to use it. But this goes beyond that. This is if I'm not enjoying it, I'm not going to use it. Now, there are exceptions to that. If I can make it work for me, if I use those products that I don't like and I use them and create a new product, like I have some Franken bronzers, I have a little concoction sometimes that I do with different foundations. I don't like the foundations by themselves, but together, I love them. I am going to be doing one of those today, just to prove my point. But if it's something that I don't like, I'm not going to make myself use it. Now, some may think that that is counterintuitive to actually project panning, and I don't think that is, because I know that there are panners out there that will make something work no matter what, because to throw it away or to declutter it hurts their soul. And I get that. But I am not one of those people. If I don't like it, I'm not keeping it. And number 2 kind of goes along with that. It's letting go of making it work. Not every product deserves the effort. And struggling with a product does not make it worth it. You're allowed to say, this just doesn't work for me. This is just not a good thing for me. Since I started my channel, I have let go of so many things, but I've also held on to so many things because, you know what, I might use that one day. No. In my regular life, I am not a keeper. If I don't use something, it goes away. So I don't know why that I've held on to things that I know in my heart that I am not going to use. And this will come up later. I feel like 1 and 2 go kind of hand in hand because There is a difference between using something with intention and forcing yourself to use it. If I'm reaching for something that I'm not excited to use, that tells me something. It tells me that I shouldn't be using it. I've spent way too much time at trying to make certain products work that just don't. And at some point, you have to tell yourself, it's not me, it's the product. In makeup, there is a lot of user error. You know, maybe you don't know how to use something, and what I do is I just watch people use it. I'm like, maybe I can use it this way, or maybe I can use it that way. But there comes a point where it just doesn't work because it's maybe not a great product. So that's when it's like, it's not me, it's you. It's not you, it's the product that you're using. Maybe it's not great. I just used a palette the other day for my makeup of the day, and I had never used this palette before, but I got it from a very dear friend, and I wanted to make it work for me. And it didn't. It did not work for me. It took a long time to blend, and in doing that, it blended away to nothing. So it was the formula. The formula was not amazing. And I'm like, why? So I wanted to give it another shot at some point. No, I'm not going to give it another shot because I know that it's not me, it's the palette. I've worked with enough eyeshadow to know whether or not it's going to work for me. If it takes effort every single time, it's not worth your time. And maybe it's something that everyone else loves, but it just doesn't work for you. As a matter of fact, you know, there are formulas out there. They just don't work for everyone. And that's okay. They don't have to. There are so many formulas out there that you're going to find something that works for you. But what I'm thinking of specifically is Melt Cosmetics. So I love Melt Cosmetics, but their formula can be very finicky. It can be very finicky. And if you don't want to take the time to figure out a formula or make it work for you, you don't have to. Nothing says that you have to do that. Nothing says that you have to keep that in your collection and figure out a way to use it. Now, if the challenge of making that work for you is worth it to you, then by all means, keep that product, learn how to use it. I'm just saying that not everything works for everyone. So the next topic is saving your good stuff for a special occasion. Well, you guys, I'm not getting any younger. I have highlighters. I have eyeshadows that I don't use for every day because maybe they're expensive or maybe they're extra fancy. They're extra, they're just extra. They're just extra. And while I do my makeup every day for work, there are some things I don't use because I'm like, it's work. I'm not going to use them for work. Why not? You're the same person, whether you're at work or you're at dinner or you're at a party. Use the good stuff. Use it. So I am letting go of not using my good stuff. Now, one thing that I did do, and it kind of makes me sad now because it's all gone, but I spent some money on a foundation the year before last. And I bought the House Labs foundation, full price, which if you are a regular viewer, if you're a subscriber that has seen multiple videos, you know I don't pay full price for anything. But I did pay full price for the House Labs foundation, and there's a story behind it, but I'm not going to go into that. I've repeated that story so many times. But I did pay full price for it, and I didn't want to use it. It took me a little while to start using that foundation. What made me open it in the first place is I wanted to see if it worked for me. Because if it didn't, for $52, I was taking it back. Because I am a returner. I will return makeup that does not work for me. If it's still in the return window. I used that whole foundation last year. I loved it so much that I used that whole foundation last year, and now it's gone. I don't want to repurchase it because I have so many foundations that I haven't even opened. And I have this, the project planner in me tells me not to open all of them, because once you open them, you're starting the clock ticking on how long it's going to be good for. Well, you know what? I'm never going to finish all of those foundations that are in my drawer over here. So I'm going to start opening them, and I'm going to start using them, and I'm going to hope that I made good choices when I purchased them. If not, I will pass them along, because going back to number 1 and 2, I'm not going to hold on to something that doesn't work for me. So I'm going to start opening my foundations that have not been opened yet. I'm going to try them out. If I don't like them, I'm going to pass them along. Get them out of my collection while they're still good enough to pass along. So saving your good stuff for a special occasion, to me, is a waste of money. Because what if that Christmas party doesn't come? What if that New Year's Eve party doesn't come? I have all these beautiful things that I've spent money on, or other people have spent money on and sent them to me. Why am I not using them? I do have a little bit of fallout. I don't think I put enough glitter primer on, because this glitter primer is amazing and it usually makes it stick. So yeah, I do have glitter on my face. That's okay. I did just take some of that off, so I have to put my moisturizer back underneath my eyes, because otherwise my foundation will look terrible. Which brings me to number 4. Letting go of the idea that makeup has to look perfect. I am 52 years old. My makeup is not going to look perfect. Can I use things to help it look better? Of course. Pore blurring primers, which I'm putting on right now. Pore blurring primers help my skin look better. Concealer helps my skin look better. I gotta take my lip plumper off. But at my age, my skin is not going to look perfect, and I'm okay with that, because I have earned every line that I have. Getting older is a privilege. It is not a burden. It's okay to combat these things. It's okay to use, moisturizers that are going to help the lines and the wrinkles and the pores, and the, the serums that help with pores and all of that. Of course, that's perfectly fine. What I'm letting go of is that my makeup has to look perfect. That my eyeshadow has to look perfect. It does not ever look perfect. And I'm okay with that. I have large pores. I have hyperpigmentation, as you can see. Even when I have my foundation on, you can see my hyperpigmentation. Nothing is going to get rid of it. I've used so many products to get rid of hyperpigmentation. Not one of them has worked. And I'm still trying them, because I would love to find something to fade this right here. Even though I do camouflage it, I'm not going to let it upset me. There were times that I would get very upset by my hyperpigmentation on my face. It's all self-induced. I used to love sitting out in the sun. I still love sitting out in the sun. I still love sitting out in the sun. I still love sun on my body. But I do make extra efforts now to protect my face. Sometimes we overwork our makeup to fix something that's not even a problem. I don't have 20-year-old skin, and I'm not trying to. I am giving myself permission to age gracefully. I am giving myself permission to not be perfect. You know, I come on here and I do videos, and I know that I'm not perfect, and I don't try to be perfect. What I do try to do is show you that this is real life. These are real sunspots on my face. These are real wrinkles underneath my eyes. This is real life. If you follow me on Instagram, you know that I do my makeup of the day every day. I never filter my photos. There was a time when I was not as, where's my foundation brush? There it is, I found it. There was a time where I was not as happy with myself. I was not happy with my body. I was not happy with my skin. I was not happy with how my makeup looked. And I was in my 30s and 40s. And man, once I discovered filters, oh yeah, it was all over. Everything was heavily filtered. Not only my skin, but the structure of my face. And I ended up looking like someone else. And I was good with that because I didn't want to see what I could see in the mirror. I didn't want anyone else to see that in my photos. But as I've gotten older, I've fallen more in love with me. You know, and this was way before I had my channel. I think, yeah, no, this was way before I had my channel. I was going to say, I was thinking that maybe the first part of the first year I had my channel, I was still filtering, but no, I wasn't. And it is very important to me that in my photos on Instagram, that you can see the lines under my eyes. Now, what I do is I take my photos in front of the window. And I will tell you right now that natural light is the best filter ever. So I do take my photos in front of the window, and I like the lighting and I like how that looks. But if you zoom in on those photos, you can see pores and you can see the lines under my eyes, and that's okay. That is completely fine. Be happy with who you are. Someone that I would talk to regularly on Instagram, who I adore so very much, has taken a break from social media. And I completely understand that. Because sometimes life gets in the way of fun, and life is more important. Family is more important than worrying about if I'm going to get a video out or if I'm going to get my makeup of the day up. Because sometimes I don't, because I'm running late, because that's real life. Anyway, so this person said that one of the reasons why they didn't want to post their makeup of the day anymore, and they weren't doing videos, and they felt like they were being vain. And I thought that was very interesting because I don't do it for vanity. Yes, I like my makeup. Yes, I like the look that I do. I like that. I show people my age that it's okay to have flaws. It's okay for your makeup to not be perfect. It's okay for your eyeshadow. Maybe you got mascara on your eyelid and you're like, oh. Instead of saying, oh, I'm not putting that photo up. That looks terrible. No, put the photo up. That's real life. You know how many times I had to get mascara on my upper lash line? No, it's important to me to show that I am human, that I love makeup, and that I don't care if it's perfect or not. Letting you look like you is perfect. the filters, everything that you want to make yourself look perfect is not perfect. Letting you look like you is perfect. This is the big one. Number 5. This is the big one. And I might have an honorable mention. Something just came in my head. But number 5. I'm letting go of my freaking fantasy self. My fantasy self has cost me so much money on items, on products that I'm not going to wear. So this also coincides with 1 and 2 about using makeup you don't love. I have a stack of eyeshadow palettes over here that when I did my declutter, my collection and declutter, at the end of last year, beginning of this year, the end of last year, I put them in a chopping block pile. I had a declutter pile, I had a keep pile, and I had a chopping block pile. And I have held on to these palettes that I just had to have because they're pretty. Well, yeah, they're freaking gorgeous. Do I enjoy wearing them? No, I don't. I don't enjoy wearing them. Do I enjoy playing in makeup and doing something different sometimes? Abso-freaking-lutely. I did an all green eyeshadow look for St. Patrick's Day. And I had a ball. But buying rainbow palettes, buying colorful palettes, no, I'm not doing that anymore. I will not. And there are so many palettes that have come out that I am so excited about. And then I look at them and I'm like, I am a neutral makeup lover. I love myself in neutral makeup. Warm neutrals, cool neutrals. Now there could be pinks and mauves in there, which that's my favorite color story, are pinks and mauves. This little BYOP right here. Love it. Use it all the time. The one exception to the neutral thing are purples. I love purple eyeshadows. I do. I love a good purple. I love a purple shimmer. I love purple mattes. Yes. But as far as rainbow palettes, when I did my collection and declutter, most of my colorful palettes went into my chopping block unless I knew I was not going to use them. Number 1 and 2 was not going to use them. And then they went into the declutter and went into my Mercari store. But I am not a colorful palette person. The ones that I kept, I really like. And for those times that I want to sit down and be creative, because that's a big part of the colorful. When I use colorful makeup, when I use colorful eyeshadow, it's because I want to sit down and be creative. So I did keep some because I knew that I was going to use them at some point. But there are also some that I know that I will never use in my life. And you know, there are also neutral palettes that I'm going to let go of because I have my favorites. These are ones that are sitting on my shelf over here that I am not going to reach for. Why do I have them? Because I feel guilty about getting rid of them. No, don't feel guilty about getting rid of things you're not going to use. So to get back on topic, my fantasy self, I'm evicting her. She is evicted from my house. I have more blue eyeshadow and green eyeshadow that I care to admit. And those are 2 shades of eyeshadow that I don't like wearing, unless it's St. Patrick's Day. I don't like wearing them. I don't like pastels. I don't like them on myself. I love to see them on other people, which is where my fantasy self gets her ideas that I'm going to like that. Oh, I'm going to love that palette. No, I'm not. I'm not going to love it because I don't like wearing those shades. I want to curate my collection for me, for myself, for my true self, not my fantasy self. So there will be quite a few palettes that I will get rid of this year. If I'm feeling a little spicy, a little feisty, I will go over there to my shelves and I will declutter some of these palettes a little bit at a time. I'm not going to go through and do them all at once. I'm going to be mindful about it. I'm going to be thoughtful about it. My honorable mention goes along with what I was just talking about. Another thing I'm letting go of is letting go the pull to over curate my collection. There's a happy medium in there. When you're curating your perfect collection, you are using products that no matter what you reach for, it's something that you love. You're not reaching for something and or you're rolling in something, say it's going back to project panning, say you're using a wheel or you're randomly choosing a product and you get that product and you say, I don't like that. Why is it in there? Why is it in your collection? So there's that, but then there's over curating and there's feeling some kind of way about a product. Not everything needs to fit into a system perfectly. You know, there's looking at a product and saying, this should inspire me because it's pretty. Well, you guys, just because it's pretty doesn't mean it works for you. But it's okay if your collection evolves in a messy kind of way. Especially if, if you're getting into makeup later in life and you don't know what works for you and what doesn't. So in that case, I say start small, because by not starting small, I have ended up with a collection that is out of control. Half of the things in my collection I've either never used or I don't like. I don't reach for. I don't feel positive when I do reach for them. So in instances like that, that's what makes me want to just do a huge, big declutter all at once. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that because that's when you get rid of things that you actually do love. Just because you haven't used it in a year doesn't mean it's bad. I have palettes that I haven't used in a year because I have so many palettes that are getting in the way of using that one palette that I love, but I forgot that I love it. I forgot about it completely because it's been sitting over here on the shelf, which is one of the reasons why I brought back my Shop My Stash. Because that way I can use these things and I can decide whether or not I love them. There are people that will not admit the fact that they have palettes that they don't use. They have makeup that they don't use. I mean, if you look at the big beauty YouTubers, do you think they use 90% of what is in their collection? No. I understand that their platform is a little different than my platform. They are reviewers. I'm not a reviewer. I will tell you what I think about something, usually when it's empty, because that's what I do in my empties, is I talk about, I give little mini reviews, but I don't do like foundation reviews with wear tests and all of that. Because I don't want to have that mindset of, oh, I need to go buy more foundations because I've already reviewed all of these. No, as we've established, I have probably, I don't know how many, but maybe 10 foundations that are still unopened. I love feeling creative. I love, as I said before, I love creating a fun makeup look for a holiday or an event or whatever. But I don't need 75 palettes with shades that I might use in the chance that I want to feel creative. Having a few for those days. I have a Blend Bunny Blends, which is a rainbow palette. I have a Glamlight, my Glamlight Rick and Morty, which is a rainbow-ish type palette. But in my chopping block, I have like 4 colorful palettes. And I had to have them. I have to sharpen my lip liner. You know, and when I say I'm letting go of my fantasy self, that doesn't mean that I'm getting rid of shimmery eyeshadows, because that's just simply not true. I love sparkly shimmery eyeshadows. I don't love glitter, but I love shimmer, which my Divina collection will attest to that, because I do love that. So the short list: letting go of forcing myself to use products just to hit pan goals. Letting go, completely letting go of that. Letting go of products that just simply don't work for me. They just don't work. I'm not going to make them work. Unless, caveat to that, as I said, there are products that I mix together to make something amazing. And I'm going to try that with just about every product. If it's the wrong shade, if it's the wrong tone, I will, of course, try to make that work for me. Number 3, letting go of saving the good stuff, you guys. Use your good stuff. Use your good skincare. Use your good skincare. Use that red lipstick. I'm telling myself this because I don't ever wear red lipstick. And I should, because I have some beautiful red lipsticks. Letting go of chasing perfect makeup. Perfect makeup does not exist. And letting go of buying for my fantasy self instead of my real self. This is about giving myself permission to do those things. Giving myself permission to look at who I really am as a makeup person, as a makeup consumer, as a makeup artist, for lack of a better word, even though I'm not a makeup artist. And giving myself permission to get rid of those things. You guys, it comes down to this. No one is the boss of you except for you. Your collection can be as big as you want it to be or small as you want it to be. It can be as colorful as you want it to be or as neutral as you want it to be. The only person that can tell you what's right for you is you. You guys, don't forget to go check out Leanna and see what she's letting go of for the spring renewal. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate you being here. And until our next adventure, everyone have a great day, and we'll see you later.